guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to your reading for August 2023. So this month we are all going through basically the setup to enter a new chapter of our lives in some way and have a transformation in our lives in some way. So this month is really just the precursor to that. Now, you guys are really pushing towards your career, and you can feel like you're being met with a lot of resistance at this time. You really have all these ideas, you really want to push and push and push, and you know what you have to do. You're implementing the routines, you're feeling really ambitious, you're putting your ideas out there, like you know everything that needs to be done in order to achieve the goals that you need. But there's this resistance because as much as you are going and doing everything right, there's also this resistance from others, and also this internal resistance. The resistance from others can be based on jealousy, it can be based on people not wanting to see you go, or people who are surprised by the change that you're making. You're not the person that you used to be, and you can meet resistance in this way. And the resistance might not always show up in the form of conflict, but it can show up in the form of staying where you're comfortable. When you feel like you're really going and you're really achieving success and things like this, there seems to be like this pullback from people in your life or circumstances that say, hey, remember how good things were? Remember all these good times we had together? Remember? And like the nostalgia. And it's like, you know what you need to do to be successful, and you're implementing that in your alone time. And then when it comes to the external world, it's like every time you go out into the external world, there's something that kind of makes a distraction in some way or pulls on your heartstrings in some way. So it could be like, okay, I really feel like I need to get this stuff done, but then maybe some friends are going out and you're like, okay, well, I don't want to miss out on this, or yeah, I always have a good time with that. Or maybe you feel like you've been working a lot and you do want to have a break and you want to go out with people. Now, the resistance lies in getting comfortable there. So it's like when you need to be going and you need to be putting your all into it, that's when people can come in or situations can come in and create resistance, but in the form of comfort, in the form of having fun. And while it's not bad to rest and have fun, but when it goes on prolonged and it becomes a form of procrastination, if that makes sense. So it's like when you're alone, you know exactly what you need to be doing and you're doing it. You have your morning routine down, you have your plans set up, and then maybe you hang out with some friends, and then for a couple of days, you kind of fall off, and you just, for the next few days, you feel like off your routine, kind of off balance in that way. And so it's this struggle of resistance between your comfort and pushing ahead towards your new goals. And there's this boundary that needs to be set there where it's like, yeah, sometimes you need to miss out on things, or sometimes you do have to, you know, kick yourself into motion, especially when Mercury goes retrograde. It's going to be like this resistance where maybe you don't feel like doing anything, or things don't feel like they're working out right, and there's just all this resistance, and it's really going to come in the form of comfort, in the form of your old routines, in the form of recreation, where it's like you should be focused on your goals, and then all these fun opportunities come in, and you kind of have to decide between your personal improvement and going to what's comfortable, your fun recreation, and things like this. So, but this resistance isn't just external, it's trying to show you something. Well, for a while now, you guys have been feeling like you are pushing and pushing and pushing and doing a lot, and feeling like things aren't really getting off the ground. And this month and going into Virgo season, you're really going to be shown what that resistance is. It's easy to feel disappointed in the people around you. It's easy to feel like it's hard for you to get out of the pattern of, the comfortability of enjoying recreation, of sacrificing um, your routines that you've been using for self improvement, and sacrificing them for comfortability and recreation, and really getting into that like hedonistic kind of being. And it's easy to get mad at yourself for that. It's easy to, become overly critical of yourself. It's easy to become overly critical of others. Why are you guys doing this? Like, we should all be improving ourselves and being ambitious and things of this nature. But what's really happening here is there is something subconscious, a belief system, um, or a subconscious behavior that is the real reason that every time you get to a certain point, you kind of fall back into a bit of slack, a bit of comfortability. And while it's easy to be critical of yourself and say, oh, you're being hedonistic, or okay, you have to stop eating junk food, or, and just be overly critical of yourself. And maybe through that criticism, you feel like, okay, now because I criticized myself in this way, I feel like I can get up, and you get back on that motivational wagon, but that's going to burn you out. And what's really, you're going to have an epiphany about this month and going into Virgo season, is that the real reason that you can't maintain this level of self improvement, you go through peaks where you're doing really well, and then you come back into the comfortability, there's a reason for it, and it's a subconscious way of procrastinating, partly because there's a part of you that might feel like you're not ready for the success that you are about to achieve. And yeah, it's easy to be critical of yourself, and it's easy to be critical of the people around you, but that's not necessarily the cause. It's something deeper that will be shown to you as we come closer to the Pisces full moon and as we go into Virgo season and through this Mercury retrograde. You're going to discover the real reason that it's not necessarily that you're surrounded by people that like to indulge or people that don't have the same goals as you. And it's not necessarily that you're lazy or that you procrastinate or that you can't seem to keep the same momentum that you have at certain times. There's a deeper reason, and it's like a subconscious procrastination that is going on, and you need to break this subconscious pattern, this subconscious belief system, in order to really break away to the next level. So yes, it is important to set boundaries at this time. I'm not saying it's, while you shouldn't be critical of yourself and overcritical of others, it is important to set boundaries at this time. It is important to know what your goals are and to know what sacrifices need to be made, and not go too far into overindulgence or go too far into procrastination or go too far into having a good time. It's important to set boundaries in this way. When you have a friend that wants to hang out all the time, but you really need to work on your projects, you need to know when to say no. Or if you have a friend that doesn't like exercising and you have decided that you have a routine now where you want to go out and exercise or go for a walk every morning or something like that, and this person wants to do something at that time that you want to go for a walk, you have to set that boundary. And this is actually, I'm trying to improve my lifestyle. This is what I'm doing at this time, and make those sacrifices. And it's not necessarily going to be easy. And a lot of resistance can come from that as well. So as you implement boundaries, there can be resistance. And it's not easy. And you might find also that as you change your lifestyle, a lot of people that you shared a lifestyle with previously can't really come on that journey, and that's going to create a lot of emotional resistance as well, because it's not easy to give up what you've always known, but you are very aware that you need to expand out of this because it is hurting you. You don't want to stay in the same place. You want to do better, and you're understanding the need to break away from the relationships that don't really want to come on that journey. So now at the bottom here, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Tower. So this is really, where all this resistance that you're going through, this, being in between, you're trying to build something, but there's things holding you back, the procrastination, the friends that don't have the same interests as you do now, and having to give that up and set boundaries. When you give up these things, when you sacrifice the things that are no longer serving you, the things that are inhibiting or restricting your expansion, restricting your ability to build the foundation for yourself, the routines that you want, you will come into success. But things can feel very confusing and volatile because you're going through not only a lifestyle change, but a change in your subconscious behaviors, your belief systems, how you feel about yourself, everything. Once you unlock this subconscious reason for falling in and out of procrastination or indulgence or nostalgia, everything is really going to break away, and you will find when these things break away, the things that you were striving very hard to attain are able to come to you very easily. But the way your life changes can become a shock, and can become confusing for a time because you do have to make certain sacrifices when it comes to who you want to be and what's currently in your life. If you want to be extremely fit, you can't hang out with people that are eating junk food 24/7 and don't want to exercise. Or if you do, you have to set those boundaries. So there's all these sacrifices that come with the lifestyle that you're trying to achieve. And once you break through that subconscious barrier, once you release these old belief systems and release this blockage that's been holding you in this place, that's been kind of restricting your expansion, things are going to change very rapidly, and it's going to come as a shock, and it can be very confusing. You'll have a lot of opportunities coming to you, and you'll also notice your life shifting in a major way. Now, this tower moment is not necessarily a negative thing, it is actually something that's necessary. It's actually something that you want. At the beginning of this journey, you are really wishing for this expansion out of your current situation. You're really wanting this transformation, and you're doing everything you can to get there. And then once you have this, um, whether it's a spiritual breakthrough, a subconscious breakthrough, a change in your belief systems, or something of that nature, it really just sets you free from that restriction. So you're no longer waiting for it to happen. It happens very quickly. It can be overwhelming, but it's not. The tower is not a bad thing. It can be confusing, it can be volatile, but it is really this necessary change that's happening because you have changed. You've changed your lifestyle. You've changed not only your lifestyle, but your fundamental belief systems. Because, so the 12th house and the 6th house are connected. So for a while, you have been working in the 12th house, building up a new lifestyle, but our lifestyle and our routines are directly, and our health and things like this are directly related to our subconscious and our belief systems. And so the way we treat ourselves, the way we live our day to day life directly comes from our subconscious mind and our behaviors in this way. You've been trying to change the external, and there's been this blockage as why can't I get things off the ground? And it's because your subconscious mind isn't there yet. So you've kind of taken the long road when it comes to this. Now, once that breakthrough happens, this tower moment happens, and it's volatile and it's confusing, and it's a doorway you go through to solidify this change. Because once you have this subconscious breakthrough, your lifestyle will change fundamentally. And I don't know how to explain it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It is a volatile moment where a lot of things are changing and you have a lot of opportunities, but it's not something that's devastating. It's something that you really wanted and been waiting for it to happen. And it's like, because you chose the long way to do this, because you chose, instead of going into the subconscious mind to change your beliefs and therefore change your routines, you've changed your routines and lifestyle and kind of trained yourself through the external way, which also works. So all these opportunities and things you've been trying to manifest, they're there. And it's just this subconscious breakthrough. Like, you've done all the steps in the physical world to bring about these, and they're kind of just waiting to come in. So this tower is really an overwhelming shift in your life and the way you live and the way you earn money and all of these things. And it's really an opportunity for you to really set things straight when you have this subconscious epiphany. That's what kind of triggers the things to shift around you and this tower moment, because you're seeing what can and cannot go on. You're seeing what needs to be sacrificed. You're seeing what's necessary, or in some ways, you're even seeing like things you just don't even want to participate in, where before you might have been like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go out and do this. It's like now you don't even want to, and now everything shifts very rapidly. So in a way, it might seem volatile, but it's actually a way for you to really begin to organize your life in the way you want to, in the way you've been trying to. Like, all these things have to fall away in order for you to reorganize. And on the other side of that, this Seven of Cups in the Tower is really like the doorway where it's like you're finally pushing through the transformation, and coming out on the other side of that is the lifestyle that you've been trying to achieve, the relationships that you've wanted, the stability that you've wanted. Alright, guys, that's what I have for you this month. If you would like a personal reading with me, I will link it in the description below. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.